Hello everyone, I'm Indah Santi from SAKTI University. I'm English Education Semester 3rd. Today, I'm going to share about my campus. Do you know about it? Yeah, SAKTI University, the best and cheapest university in BEKASI. You doubt? Don't worry, because University SAKTI has been accredited A. Even though the cost is cheap, but you can enjoy very luxurious facilities, starting from AC room, Wi-Fi, micro teaching room, library, and staff or lecture very humble. Consists of several study programs that have graduate students with the best grade. Are you workers? In here, the best place for your study and chasing dreams. Let's join us and feel the sensation of 5-star lecture. Don't forget to subscribe YouTube channel SAKTI University. Please share, like, comment, and subscribe. And now, I would like to share about material online, language, and social interaction. And here, I have partner. She is Adinda Putri, Siti Gita Fitri, and Isna Herawati. Online language and social interaction. Online language is fourth medium after written language can be interpreted as speaker doing language but as if speaking to fields. Study in language and social interaction which continues of study discourse grammar. But with a new focus, it's aimed to profit from for research on grammar. Understood broadly? In its natural home environment, spoken interaction, the assumption underlying the series is that study of language, as is actually used in social interaction, provide the foundation for understanding how to the patterns and regulator we think of as a grammar image from everyday communicative needs. The editors welcome language research from a range of different methodological traditions, including conversation analysis, interactional linguistic, and discourse functional linguistic. Language is fundamental to the rituals and events of everyday life that its role is taken for granted. Language and social interaction deals with how we use language to negotiate relationship, action, and even in our daily life. Okay, language study in a variety contextually contain a number of special features including frequency as acronymy, example, by the way, and LOL. Start from K for OK. Less attention to standard spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. Letters homophone, example, U for you. OIC for oh, I see. Creative use of punctuation, example, multiplied punctuation such as or Alice marks. Spelling based on sound, cool or cool. Lexicalization of vocal sounds like ha ha ha, emoticons, and other keyboards generative graphic. Creative use of topological space and layout. Formulaic opening and closing, example, soup and BB.
Hello, my name is Gita and I will tell you about media effect and user effect. Media effect and user effect has two parts. First is focus on the media and how they constrain normal language use. And second is focus on the users of media, their social identities, and their relationship with the people with whom they are communicating. An approach that focuses on media effect. Affordance in digital media. First is interactivity. The most striking digital media capabilities, text-based digital communication, involves all kinds of interaction opportunities between the person writing the message and the person receiving it. Constraint in digital media, first is time. This takes more time than talking, and there's an inevitable delay between a message is typed and when someone else is received. Even the most sophisticated chat system that use the fastest data connection cannot mimic the synchronicity of face-to-face conversation. Second is space. Some digital media limit the number of characters allowed per turn. Example, 160 characters for most SMS text message and 150 characters on Twitter. Third is media richness. Media richness is although chat, instant messaging, and texting are in many ways like a face-to-face conversation, they don't have rich cues like tone of voice, facial expressions, and gestures available face-to-face. However, to overcome these shortcomings, users usually use emoticons, typography, and non-standard spelling. Contextualization cues, signaling the context in which our word will be interpreted. These cues convey information about what we do when we communicate, for example like joking, complaining, or arguing, and how the verbal parts of our message are meant to be understood. Okay, now we move to example of contextualization cues. The following excerpt from an instant messaging conversation illustrate how things like punctuation and emoticons can be used as contextualization cues in the best communication. In this example, Tina signaled that her characterization of herself as a beautiful girl is playful and facetious by adding ha 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 dot and the emoticon smile. Similarly, Barnett also signals that she is not entirely serious about living by adding a title to his interjection I, signaling a lengthening of the vowel sound, and ending his contribution with the playful with emoticon a closed face. Without these cues to signaling participants' attitudes toward what they are saying, it would be difficult to interpret the utterances as they were meant to be. A danger in regarding the unique feature of text-based digital communication simple as substitutes for the kinds of cues we use in face-to-face conversations. It means when we use a smiling emoticon in an instant message may not mean the same thing or serve the same function as a smile in face-to-face conversation, and just because somebody writes things in a certain ways doesn't mean that they would pronounce them in that way in voice-based interaction. Contextualization cues. Contextualization cues include features of language, example elements of linguistic structure, such as word and syntax, and those that go along with language, like paralinguistic features such as pitch, tempo, laughter, and nonverbal signal, and those are omnipresent in interaction. Okay, now move to focus on the user. The way scholars have come to account for this variation has been to focus on the users of text-based communications. They are who they are and their relationship with and attitude towards the people with whom they are communicating and what they are communicating about.
Hello, my name is Isna and I will tell you about what are we doing when we interact online. The reason many people use text-based media or instant messaging first, lower the transaction cost of communication, avoiding the risk of inconveniencing with a phone call, can avoid interrupting other people while working or doing other things, give people more time to compose and respond to utterance, to avoid others overhearing, doesn't require user to devote so much attention to how they look and what they are doing when they interacting. Before digitally mediated text-based communication, many of kinds of interaction that are a regular part of many people's daily practice were either not possible or not particularly practical. People did not regularly phone up friends or drop by to say hi or tell them what they had for dinner, for to do so would have taken too much time and effort. This kind of interaction have more to do with maintaining our relationship with others than actually conveying information. For example, is the practice of sharing. Because of its low transaction cost, text make it easy for people to share their thought, idea, or experience and feeling with others. It also make it easier for people reciprocate or ignore such message if they so choose. At the same time, the text also facilitates completely instrumental interaction, like a boy informing her girlfriend that he is going to be late, a wife asking her husband to pick up a carton of milk, or an employee informing her boss that she has completed a report. The text helps to make such purely instrumental transaction more efficient. This new form of interaction that text-based digital communication facility remind us of the fact that communication is more than one thing. Lots of different kinds of activity go under the name of communication, and different modes and media tend to encourage different kinds of communication and different relationship between the people communicating.
M.Pd, making more mode of communication available in an interaction doesn't always result in more meaning being conveyed. More data doesn't always result in more information. Quite a lot of communication occurs indirectly and that meaning is conveyed both in what is not said as well as in what is said. Depending on the context and the relationship between communicator, a text message containing a single smile can express just as much as an elaborate verbal utterance. Contents of text-based communication themselves have the effect of encouraging people to come up with new and creative ways to express things, just as the contents of strict poetic form like the sonnet encourage creativity in literature. In Twitter, you have only 140 characters to express a rather dense set of meanings. For example, you must learn to choose your words wisely and employ them inventively. Digital communication doesn't just encourage creativity through its limitations, but also through its flexibility. People have been mixing linguistic research is their verbal communication for a long time. For example, regularly mix language, especially when they are speaking to other multilingual. What is special about text-based digital communication? While allowing users to add into the mix feature like abbreviations that are only possible in writing. This multi-scriptural capacity of text is particularly evident in the communication of those whose language is not traditionally written with the Roman alphabet. Example, is what has come to be known in China as Martian language. A combination of Chinese characters, Romanese Chinese words, English words, symbols, and emoticons. Playing around with language in this way opens up all sorts of new possibilities for meaning making that are only normally available in voice, thus conversation or traditional. Commonly, 2007, for instance, discussed how teenagers in Hong Kong creatively mix different forms of English and Chinese writing in their instant messaging language, sometimes rendering Chinese using characters as in traditional writing, sometimes writing it as Romanese word, and sometimes using English translation. Example, a part-time teacher at his university by rendering the Chinese expression, which is used to describe someone who only works for money, using the English word cheat rise it. Speakers use them in their instant messaging and SMS language. They gain the advantage of being able to express their feelings and attitude more clearly and create a sense of closeness with the people with whom they are communicating. In other words, they increase the meaning potential of both writing Chinese and writing English. I'm Adinda Putri. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.